guys, it's Prince Rich with Rich Technology Group, and today's video is going to be the top 10 most frequently asked questions about Vonage. And here today with me, I have a special guest, Alex Comstock with Vonage. First of all, Alex, I want to personally thank you for being here. How are you today?
Doing great. Thanks for having me.
So before we get into the top 10 most frequently asked questions about Vonage, could you quickly tell the folks that are watching who you are, what your role is at Vonage, and then for those who don't know what Vonage is, can you give them just a short and sweet overview of who and what Vonage is and what you guys do?
Yeah, I'd be happy to. So like Prince mentioned, my name's Alex Comstock. I'm a senior account executive here at Vonage, going into my 7th year. My role, I work with clients directly. I work with clients from Prince. I can demo the platform, run discovery calls, understand what it is that you guys need, put together solutions, provide test accounts, but ultimately I'm customer facing. I'm here to help clients such as Prince's.
Cool. And for those of you who aren't aware, Alex and I work together almost daily. Alex and my team work together almost daily on people like yourselves that watch and you're curious, is Vonage a good fit? What does Vonage offer for your business, and also to see pricing? So this is the guy that I'll hook you up with when the time comes. But without further ado, let's jump into the top 10 questions. So the first question on my list, Alex, question number 1 is, what size businesses is Vonage typically a good fit for?
As you know, we work with them all over the spectrum. So anybody from a single mobile application user, just a one-person shop, anywhere to larger contact centers. So no business is too small, no business is too big. We work with a lot of larger accounts such as Starbucks, Airbnb, Uber, Lyft, and then we also work with small mom and pop shops.
Cool. So that brings us into another segment of that same question. Question number 2, what industries is Vonage best for? Or I guess I wouldn't say what's best for. What industries would you say you guys typically work with? And what industries may Vonage have be more have more favoritism towards, if any?
So we work with a lot. As far as specific industries that we end up being an excellent fit for, healthcare, finance, manufacturing, retail, real estate. Those are some of the large ones, just due to mobility, due to compliance in the healthcare segment. But we work with all of them. Those are probably going to be my top 5.
Okay, cool. And to Alex's point, for those of you who may or may not know, we have actually worked with Vonage with literally, I think at the time of this video, Alex, hundreds of accounts that we found Vonage was the best fit for. And Alex is correct. It's kind of all across the spectrum, not only by size of the business, but also by industry.
Right.
So question number 3, how much does Vonage cost approximately, and what type of pricing structure does Vonage use?
Sure. So as far as the structure goes, we price based on how many users you have that will be using the phone system. So to give you a little background on how the system works, it goes through the internet. So ultimately, there's no limitation to a specific amount of phone lines. All users can be on the phone at the same time. All users can have people on hold at the same time. So we price based on how many users you have or however many phones you need service to. As far as the pricing per user goes, we've got our standard pricing listed on the website. If you go through a dealer such as Prince with Rich Technology Group, you will have a reduced rate. Contact Prince so he can put you in touch with me for those rates. Ultimately, it'll vary just depending on what your specific requirements are, which Prince and I will collectively put together.
Yeah, internally at Vonage and also here in our office, you guys, we call that the Prince pricing. That's actually kind of
it's a thing.
That's kind of the code name that we call it internally. Okay, so question number 4. Does Vonage require mandatory contract terms, and if so, how long are those terms?
We do not have mandatory contract terms. As far as pricing goes, for your last question, it will be more favorable on a contract. As far as us being able to include equipment, which we'll get to later on in this segment, that will require a contract. But ultimately, do we require mandatory contracts? No. If you're looking for a month-to-month service, we can provide it.
Cool. Question number 5. What IP phones or IP phone brands does Vonage support, and how can a person purchase or acquire those phones?
There's a handful that we support. The two that I primarily work with are Polycom and Yealink. We support some Cisco models. We support some Grandstream models. There's a few Panasonic models, but the Polycom and Yealink are going to be the main ones. They can be acquired through us. They can also be acquired elsewhere or through Prince. Prince gets great deals on hardware, so if it's something you wanted to shop and purchase elsewhere, definitely contact him.
Cool, cool, cool. And for those of you who are watching this and wondering, okay, what models of Polycom, Yealink, or Grandstream are those? We actually did a separate video that I'll tag in this video or put in the description below, where we actually did a quick, short and sweet overview of all of the Vonage compatible IP phones at the time of this video or release of that video. So I'll tag that for those of you who are interested in seeing exactly what phones and models they are. Um, let's see. So question number 6. Does Vonage offer free phones? And if so, how does that program or promotion work?
Yeah, so we do. It really ultimately depends on the phone model that you need, what meets your requirements, whether or not it can be included for free, and then contract terms. So generally on a 3-year contract, there are a couple models that we have the ability to include. We can work on pricing going through Prince if there's a different model that does need to be included, but we do have options, and it ultimately will depend on the phone model itself and the length of the contract term.
Okay, perfect, perfect. So question number 7. What if somebody has existing IP phones from a previous provider or previous phone service? Can they use those with Vonage?
Yes, so if it's a compatible phone, if it is a phone that our platform supports, we can use it if that phone is unlocked. So some carriers, they'll lock phones. It really just requires a password to get into the phone so that we can factory reset it. But if it's a compatible phone, and if it's a phone that's unlocked or you have the ability to unlock, we can repurpose it.
Okay, cool, cool, perfect. Yeah, because I get asked that question a lot. Like people that are coming from another carrier will say Vonage competitor, and they've invested a bunch of money into phones in a previous scenario, and they want to know if they can work or not. So that, again, for those of you who are watching that are wondering that, the other video that we've already done that we'll mention in this one or tag in the YouTube video tags, you would be able to search and see if the phones that you have are on that list. So, anywho, moving on. Question number 8. Does the Vonage mobile app support MMS messaging? This has always been a hot topic for the last year or so. So I guess first it's a yes or no question, and then if you want to elaborate on that, go for it.
The answer is yes, absolutely yes. And it has been a question that's been asked for a long time, and it took a minute for us to be able to support it, but yes, we do.
Cool, cool. Okay. Question number 9. This is probably the biggest question that I get asked, like in general. This is probably actually the number one most wondered question. Can somebody port their existing phone numbers to Vonage from another provider or carrier?
Almost always, the answer is yes. There are certain exceptions. If you contact Prince and he puts you in touch with me, I have a portability tool that I can use, which basically this just determines whether or not we have the ability to obtain your number. 99% of the time, yes, I can transfer over numbers. If they're associated with a rate center in a smaller rural area, there's a slim chance that we can't, but almost always
Yeah.
the number does connect portable.
Yeah. And to second Alex's point, you guys, we've seen the same. Like I would say about 98, 99% of the time, we've always been able to get a customer's numbers to port over, except in scenarios like he said, if it's like a small rural phone service provider that's not bound by certain like government regulations that require them to be able to port your number. I have personally seen people port phone numbers from home landlines to Vonage, cell phone carriers to Vonage, even Google Voice to Vonage and things like that, virtual faxes and stuff like that. So it's it it's a
Yeah.
slim chance that you would not be able to port your numbers, in my experience.
And the biggest thing is, let us know when you speak with Prince, when you speak with myself, let us know that you want to move your number over. and we can check in advance to confirm.
Yeah. Okay, so final question. Question number 10. How long after somebody has accepted a quote, like said, I like the quote, I like the price, Alex, let's roll with this. How long does it typically take for Vonage to be set up on average? And I know that's kind of a broad question because you've got
Yeah,
the people that are one or two people mom and pop shop, then you've
sure.
got like the 100 extension small call center or something. What does that look like?
So I'll start with on the quick side. On the quick side, if somebody needs a mobile application on their cell phone, it's a single user, and they say, hey, I need to advertise my number for business purposes, and I want it live today. We can have you set up as soon as you accept a proposal. If you're getting a new number as opposed to porting a number, we can have you set up really as quickly as you'd like. If you're porting over numbers, if you're working with our professional services team, getting a project manager, a project coordinator, going through an entire implementation process, it can take up to 4 weeks. It could take up to 6 weeks. Really just depends on when your project manager is assigned, when you have availability to speak with them, how long it takes for your numbers to port, when you guys want to go live. So we're flexibility on the activation date. There's situations where people come to Prince and myself and say, my phones are down, I need something immediately. And we're able to accommodate. There's other times where people say, my contract is up in 6 weeks, it's up in 8 weeks, it's up in 12 weeks. Can I go ahead and get the process started, but delay the implementation so that way I'm not billed twice? And the answer for that is yes. So realistically speaking, for what I would consider a larger account, 4 to 6 weeks if we're thoroughly doing the implementation. However, it can be sped up and it can be pushed out.
Yeah. Cool. That's a great answer to that question because that's another big one that I get asked is how soon can we be up and running? But a lot of folks that I talk to, it's not even necessarily a thing of how soon. They just want to know what the process is from a time standpoint so they know how to plan things on their end. And then a lot of it too is they don't want to get double billed or something like that between the new service and the other service while they're waiting in the transition. So anywho,
Right.
that's all the questions that I've got for you, Alex, for the top 10. But I do have one more question for you that's non-related before we
Yeah.
wrap this up. Is there anything new or exciting or anything going on at Vonage as of now that you'd like to talk about or share with the audience?
Yeah, there's a lot. There's a lot on the product roadmap. I don't know how much I'm able to share. I know we're working on some international calling bundles. I know that's something that's in the works, and it may be out by now by the time this video is released. I also know that we're working on or have recently released implementation packages for smaller accounts that typically wouldn't have a project coordinator. So speak to Prince or myself about those. If you feel that you want a project coordinator to assist with the implementation, handhold the process, we do have packages that we can quote you on that will include that. But the biggest thing, if you're watching this video prior to contacting Vonage directly, if you want to work with Prince, if you want to work with Rich Technology Group, they provide a tremendous amount of value. Contact him first. If you want Prince's rates, if you want the quality of service that Prince provides, contact him prior to contacting us directly. So that way Prince will be able to get you his price and get you registered. And
the Prince, so we can get you the Prince pricing.
The Prince treatment, the whole Prince treatment.
Well, Alex, I really want to personally thank you for being here. I really appreciate your time and answering all those questions. So thank you so much for coming today.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
For those of you who are watching this, I don't think I need to say anything else. Alex already kind of explained to you that if you want our pricing, you got to come to Rich Technology Group directly first. I will hook you up with Alex, who me and my team work with pretty much daily. He'll go through the motions, talk to find out a little bit more about your business, like what features you may or may not need on the basic to intermediate to advanced level. He'll even coordinate demos with you and actually show you the platform so you feel comfortable with it and know exactly what it is that you're getting. And he'll talk with you about special pricing and about what contract terms may or may not be the best fit for your business. As always, if you found this video helpful, please like the video. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel. We upload new videos every single week. As always, and again, it's Prince Rich with Rich Technology Group, and I'm your go-to guy for the best deals on business phone and internet service in the United States. I'll catch you guys again in the next video.